We're going to start in the court, and split emotions, shouts of joy from the corner of the courtroom where family of the slain soldier, Major Maxwell Mahama, were seated, and echoes of regret, pain and despair by the convicts after the jury delivered its verdict after the 7-year murder trial. 12 convicts were sentenced to life imprisonment and 2 others freed. Lodido Asare reports.
After calling on 14 prosecution witnesses, the 7-member jury found 12 accused persons guilty of conspiracy to commit murder and murder. They were subsequently sentenced to life imprisonment. The Assemblyman, William Ba, Bernard Asamoah, Kofi Nyame, Charles Queening, Kwame Tufor, Joseph Apia Kubi, Michael Enim, John Bossier, Akwesi Asante, Charles Queening, Emmanuel Beidu, and Kwejo Nima will serve the remainder of their days in jail, while Bismarck Donko and Bismarck Abanga stepped out as free men. Attorney General Godfrey Yeboah-Dame noted that the sentence should be a deterrent against mob action.
Indeed, there is no point at all engaging in mob justice. But clearly, we have seen a situation where a person who was innocent, was gruesomely murdered under such circumstances. And I believe that the whole nation will learn from it and need to put an end to mob justice in Ghana. I was quite appalled to see the videos of Major Mahama on social media. And at least we have seen that mob justice does not pay. Ultimately, the wheels of justice will catch up with you. And if you think that you can resort to justice by yourself, you yourself will be dealt with in accordance with law. I believe that these men who have been convicted today and who are going to serve the rest of their life in prison will indeed learn a lesson, and I'm sure the community in which they live also will learn a lesson.
Mother of the slain soldier, who was earlier elated by the verdict, could not be consoled as she got overcome with emotions.
The murder of my son has been determined, and I am thankful to God for the strength to endure over 6 years of agonizing pain. The twist and turns of events and associated heartache is unspeakable. God knows my plight as a mother whose loving son was snatched away from her in such a gory manner.
Lodido Asare, TV3 News, Accra.
We'll say on this rather sad event, and meanwhile, father of Major Mahama, in an interview with the media, says his son's murderers are more than the 12 who have been sentenced to life imprisonment. Captain retired Dennis Adam Mahama says the police must further investigate and bring them to book.
We know very well that those involved in the killing of Major Maxwell Mahama outnumber even 100. They were vividly captured in a video, and yet we got just 14 standing trial today, and 12 of them have been found guilty and convicted. We thank God. The rest, there are a lot of them out there who all contributed in their various ways to get this young officer killed. And so we leave them to the law to chase up with them, and if not, we leave them to the Almighty God to deal with them.
Now on to some more stories. The Electoral Commission EC has declared that no winner was officially recognized in the MPP parliamentary primaries in Yendi. Now the absence of a winner is as a result of the disruptions that occurred during the counting process. The Commission, in a statement, has dissociated itself from a video circulating on social media depicting a gentleman declaring results of the just-ended New Patriotic Party parliamentary primaries in the Yendi constituency in favor of the incumbent. Now, the statement adds that the disruption or destruction of 489 ballots, which remain to be counted, made it impossible for the presiding officer to complete the collation and declare the results. Now, away from that, the two major political parties, the MPP and the NDC, differ in opinions over the Electoral Commission's proposal to change the date of the general elections from December 7 to November. The proposal was the major issue for discussion by participants at Monday's Inter-Party Advisory Committee meeting. Now, while the NDC wants the proposal implemented in the 2028 general elections, 2024 general elections, the MPP wants the EC to be allowed to do what is best for the country. Duke Mensah reports.
The proposal for the change in the date of general elections was mooted in 2016, but the attempt was shot down in Parliament when the idea did not garner the required support to go past the second reading stage in the House. In 1992, the presidential election was held in November before the parliamentary election that was boycotted by the MPP was held in December. The proposal is back on the table, but it seems it is not favored by some political parties.
For purposes of having an election ahead of December to allow for transition, I think in principle that was not a problem. But the NDC position, which I think was largely a position of many other political parties, was that the time to have it done will be post-2024 in order to allow the whole of the country, the Electoral Commission, Parliament, everybody to prepare properly.
The NDC has returned to the IPAC after months of boycott. The party says it has been good so far.
So far, we are comfortable with the beginnings. And we are hoping that which really has been the original position of IPAC from Dr. Farijan through Charlotte Osei. So we're just saying let's revert to what it has been for the sake of our country, for the sake of our democracy.
The MPP says the EC must consult widely on the proposal and be allowed to implement proposals it deems fit for the elections.
We now leave everything in the care of the EC to come out with their program lineup for the year. And we see how it goes. I'm saying strangely the NDC are saying no because they had in 2016 proposed the November 7 idea and had sponsored it even in Parliament, except that it could not pass. And today that we would have gotten enough time to prepare towards December 7 or let it be November 7. They are saying no.
The next IPAC meeting will be next month, that's February. Duke Mensah, TV3 News, Electoral Commission, Rage, Accra.
We'll say in politics then, the two major political parties, the MPP and the NDC, of course, they have been differing in that opinion. But flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, has urged local businesses to embrace the 24-hour economy, which he says is a game changer as the party prepares to regain power. The former president has been addressing members of the Council of Indigenous Businesses in Accra as part of efforts by the NDC to craft the People's Manifesto.
The Council of Indigenous Business Association, CIBA, with its membership strength of 5 million, include hairdressers and beauticians, caterers, market women, and drinking bar operators. The engagement was to be abreast with John Mahama's 24-hour economy proposal and how best to feed into it. Labour expert Austin Game says the 24-hour economy is a welcome progress for the country.
The 24-hour economy, to me, I see it in the Constitution of Ghana, and therefore what is being said by the former president just sits in it properly. The 24-hour economy is defined as a planned economy that gives people a sense of belonging, not by default. It is the practice of inclusive economy to open the door for decent job creation, enhanced productivity, assurance of return on the investment, collaboration, and co-creation. This in turn creates an environment in which people feel they are a part of the national agenda. When people feel part of a national economic agenda, they care for it.
The flag bearer of the NDC in his engagement says a special attention needs to be paid to the informal sector following the current economic trend.
Because from 2019, we could tell that this government was overborrowing, and not only overborrowing, but using most of the borrowing for consumption rather than for infrastructure and production. And so we kept raising the red flag. And unfortunately, we have ended where we have ended. Just a few days ago, the IMF said that despite the debt restructuring, Ghana's debt is still unsustainable. And that means that all the talk about turning the corner, we haven't turned any corner yet. And so we must still aim at stabilizing this economy. And that will be the first task of a new government that comes after 2024.
Outlining his 24-hour policy and how local businesses will benefit, John Mahama says obnoxious taxes would be repealed in the interest of growth.
Kumasi make our platform so say Emrano Daho. And so Aban Bia and Fine Juma. Jack Toronto Nini New Hakitu and Kwana Omakase.
We are against VAT on electricity consumption. It's just not progressive.
Now, away from that, the continuous stay of the GRA boss in office has come under intense scrutiny by the Public Accounts Committee when he appeared before them on Monday. Ningo Prampram MP Sam George sought to find out why Dr. Reverend Amishadai Owusu Amoah is still in office after he allegedly attained the age of 60. The public interest question from the MP sparked controversy that led to the public address system strangely going off after Deputy Finance. Now, Minister Abena Osei Asari tried strenuously to get the chairman of the committee to disallow the question. This ensued.
What year did you attain the age of 60?
Is this a public interest question? Respectfully.
Yes, Chairman, if people think that this is personal, let me just remind this House and the Finance Minister, the Deputy Finance Minister, that her boss, the Finance Minister, came before the House of Parliament and informed us on behalf of His Excellency the President, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that he was no longer going to be giving contractual extensions to people above the age of 60.
I'm saying that he's a public officer. We have the law that governs this country. Fortunately, if you attain the age of 60, you have the opportunity to be given a contract. If he's on contract, he will tell us, and that's solve it. What is your problem? If he's not up to 60, he will say it. What is your problem? Mr. Commissioner General, can you respond to the question? Mr. Commissioner General, will you respond to the question or you will not? Mr. Commissioner General, will you respond to the question posed by the member or you will not?
Mr. Chairman, the Honorable Deputy wanted to make an intervention.
No, I'm asking you, not the Deputy Minister. If I want the Deputy Minister to come in, I'll ask her.
Interesting developments there. But moving on, the Asante Traditional Council has advised chiefs in the region to avoid partisan politics. The issue of chiefs indulging in partisan politics came up strongly when the Asante Council sat on the alleged Wontumi derogatory comment at the Menchia Palace. William Evans Inkum sat through proceedings and reports.
Menchia Palace, the seat of the Santehene, has remained one of the strongest traditional institutions in Ghana. When the Kumasi Traditional Council sits, members hear cases and adjudicate same. Cases have normally bordered on chieftaincy and land disputes. But today, they sit on a rather unusual case brought before it. It is political, but the mentioning of the Santehene has caught the attention of the palace. The council is normally chaired by the Santehene. In his absence, the Bantamahene, Nana Owusu Amankwah the Sixth, chairs, especially issues emanating from Kumasi. On January 3, Wontumi was alleged to have made a derogatory comment about the Menchia Palace. Chief of Kokoso, Nana Kwekudria, who is also a council member of the NPP, lodged a complaint at the seat of Santehene against Chairman Wontumi. My constituency chairman even tried to calm Wontumi, but he wouldn't listen. The first thing that came from his mouth was, "Look, nobody can gag me. Even if Otumfuo says something which I disagree, I will challenge him. I have my own kingdom." Wontumi, appearing before the Kumasi Traditional Council for the first time, denied the allegation. "It is never true. I never said that. The reason I evoked the dreaded river." The chief of Kokoso was criticized by his fellow chiefs for indulging in partisan politics.
As a chief, we do not engage in partisan politics. It is like finding a male in a female's dormitory.
Minister of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, reiterated the need for chiefs to abstain from partisan politics.
The Traditional Council has given us their candid advice and we've received it in good faith.
Wontumi, on the other hand, was rebuked for evoking a curse on the chief of Kokoso. He has been asked to begin a process of reversing the curse.
Let's do some education-related stories. And the Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana says it will not call off its strike despite government and the university management's assurances to get the second-tier pension arrears and overtime allowance paid. Now, the association is requesting a government roadmap outlining the payment schedule before calling off its strike.
Members of the association converged on the entrance of the University of Ghana to re-examine the ongoing strike, claiming that some members have refused to comply, leading to disagreement. The leadership recounted a meeting with the National Labour Commission to resolve grievances. The university management has pleaded with the aggrieved unions to call off their strike, awaiting government to address their demands. But the leadership of the striking senior staff members disagrees.
To do with one, then it has to do with our vis-a-vis condition of service. Fortunately, those things have been resolved, and then National Labour Commission also added their voice to it that document should be withdrawn. So that one is settled. It's left with the pension issues that we are talking about. The interest that is supposed to be paid on the pension fund, the penalties that the government is supposed to pay on the pension fund.
The executive member of senior staff and executive member of the senior staff, James Yakubu, expressed concern about the impact of the strike.
The strike actually is very impactful. For example, let me cite basic school as an example. My children are at home, I'm not happy. And then calls are from parents have called me severally that we should consider the basic school. But I mean, one person cannot do it all. It's a meeting. So if the group agrees, we do that.
Now, a former administrator of U.S. Environmental Protection is bemoaning the continuous degradation of Ghana's lands by illegal miners across the country. Michael Regan argues that the current development leaves Ghana at risk of severe climate crisis.
Illegal small-scale mining has over the last 8 years destroyed major forest reserves. The impact has been the continuous pollution of major water bodies and its attendant health challenges. Former U.S. Ambassador for Environmental Protection, Michael Regan, emphasized the urgent need to address climate change, resource extraction and environmental degradation in Ghana.
When we think about the critical minerals that are here in Ghana that will supply the world, we've seen that if it's not approached correctly, what happens in terms of the degradation to the environment. We see that the Chinese and others are coming in and stripping the land, seeking these minerals, and leaving a desolate place behind. We believe that we have some very strong regulations that we believe we can help here, design here.
He highlighted the importance of the Du Bois Center in promoting Pan-Africanism and fostering unity among African nations.
You know, this is an important stop, I think, in terms of reflecting on being a black man in America, knowing his contributions to organizations like the NAACP, historic institutions like Harvard and Howard, Clark Atlanta, looking at his major contributions to multiple countries all around the globe.
The president of National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Derek Johnson, expressed the importance of having a strong African-American ties ahead of the Black History Month.
This is a significant part of our history, our legacy, not only for African Americans, but for the African diaspora. Dr. Du Bois played a significant role in the development and our understanding our connection to the continent.
William Bechard Du Bois, a prominent advocate for Pan-Africanism, gained Ghanaian citizenship in 1961, demonstrating his dedication to the country and gaining respect from Ghanaian leaders like Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
And that's our wrap up the 6 a.m. news right here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. Pleasure coming to you always. We'll go for a short break. We'll be back for the rest of New Day.